Okay, it looks like we're both recording.
Yep.
I can probably cut this part out in post-production. We'll figure that part out.
I was going to say, do you know how to do that?
I think so. I explored it a little bit. Otherwise, hey everyone.
Hey.
So, just welcome to what we are calling the Queers of Power video
Yeah.
cast thingy. I am James. Go ahead. You're Kat.
I am Kat. Thank you. Yes, I am Kat.
I'm sorry. We were really bad at this. So this is we do a podcast called Queers of Time, but we also really, really love the Lord of the Rings, and we were really, really excited to see Rings of Power. So we decided that we would do something, but because neither of us have like good post-production skills, and Camille on the Queers of Time podcast would murder us if we asked them to do it.
Yes.
We're just going to do this, record our thoughts about the show, and then kind of just post it on YouTube for anyone that
Yeah.
wants to watch it and have fun.
Yeah. It's
Do you have
just
anything, Kat?
freestyling. Freestyling.
Yes.
It's all jazz, baby. That's all this is.
It is.
It's gonna be fun.
Talking a little bit about how we're going to do it. For the format, we're kind of going to go through each of the main plot points for the story, or for the episodes. We're going to kind of treat the first two episodes as one.
Yeah.
First, we're going to go through kind of the general backstory that they present, and then we're going to go through Galadriel's story, and then we're going to go to the Southlands, and then the Harfoots, and then finally Elrond. And we'll probably talk a little bit about, at the end, what we're excited about for future episodes and stuff. We'll have some screenshots as well, just so you can kind of like follow along and stuff. So I'm hoping to do this for every episode. So
Yes.
it may not be, it'll be when it happens, because again, this is just for fun.
Yeah. This is, we cannot stress enough. This is not going to become, I feel, you know what? I had a vision of just like 6 months later of us thinking back on this moment and saying like, this is just going to be fun. This is not going to be anything serious. I feel like
And then
it's
we're
famous
paid
last words.
Amazon shills.
Yes.
Amazon picks us up, and we're like, hey, we are doing this weekly, doing it daily. We quit our jobs.
Yep. Sorry about it.
Manifest it. Let's manifest it.
Manifest that good shit.
All right. Was there anything you wanted to touch on before we kind of like dive into the backstory?
It's like I think this is something that we kind of realized when we were putting down our notes as we were going through it, but we have two very different approaches to like analyzing this, which I think actually works out beautifully. It works out really well.
We do.
Yeah.
I know. So I am, if you're familiar with the Wheel of Time show and fandom, you're familiar with the term book cloak, which is basically like people that, or recently they've been rebranded as Robert Jordan originalists.
Yes.
That rebranding works.
Which, I mean, I feel like that's too cool a name for them, honestly.
It really kind of is.
Yeah.
It really kind of is. It's like how,
Yeah.
well, no, not the Republicans and Grand Old Party and stuff. Like,
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's very that.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. I have the same thing with Wheel of Time where I had to watch it once, and then I was like, that's not how it happened. That didn't happen. What is she doing? That's not how
not
that
right.
happened. That's
Yeah.
that's wrong. But then I watched it again and I loved it, absolutely. So
Yeah.
it just takes me a little bit to get over the initial shock of like, oh, that's different. Because I feel like I'm being like tricked or something, but I'm not. It's an amazing show. But I know a lot about the lore of the Lord of the Rings and
do.
Tolkien's Middle
You
Earth,
do.
and specifically Galadriel, because she
Yes.
is my favorite character in the entire Legendarium. I have a PowerPoint presentation on the entire history of the Elven Princess Galadriel from Tolkien's Legendarium.
Oh my god.
It is. So this for me was like, okay, it's not just Rings of Power, it's like Galadriel's a main character. Like,
Yes.
oh shit.
It's a lot.
So
yeah. Yeah.
when my notes were very like, did this happen? Did this happen? I don't know if this happened, but I like it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah. And then mine's were very like, this is a really cool thing. I like how this happened because I read the Silmarillion over 10 years ago. It's been at least 10 years since I read it. So I remember bits and pieces of it. I remember the important stuff for the most part, but the specifics, I do not remember those things. Yeah.
It's interesting because they don't have the rights to the Silmarillion.
Right.
They have the rights to, like, the appendices, and I believe some of the... I don't know if they have anything for the history of Middle-earth. I think it might just be the appendices, but...
Do they have the unfinished tales? Do they have that too?
I don't think so.
And Hurin?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Unfinished Tales... Okay, let me turn around.
Yes.
The Nature of Middle-earth, The Children of Hurin, The Fall of Gondolin, and then Baron and Luthien.
Yes.
Unfinished Tale. Yeah, so I don't know what they have the rights to. I know they don't have the rights to the Silmarillion.
They definitely don't to the Silm. Yeah.
Which is going to come up in a minute, but
yes,
because that was my biggest thing that I had a moment with.
Yeah, because it is quite important, and it's so I recognized I think I kind of forgot actually that they didn't have the rights to the Silmarillion.
I was
watching. Yeah, I was watching it and I was like, wait, what? My memory is not this bad. I know that this is not exactly how things happen. And then I was like, they can't do it. They literally cannot do it.
And it's a major plot point, so it's like interesting to see how they like weave around it, because they aren't allowed to like directly contradict the Silmarillion, I think. I actually don't know. I was reading online. I don't know. What do I know?
Yeah. I think it's a lot of it's a complicated clusterfuck, I think, of rights and what they can do.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started, and I will share a screenshot here. So we start out just as like a general backstory. I thought it was really, really cool that they included the two trees, and they talked about just how far back they were going, because they're going to like the creation of the world almost.
All the way back. Yeah.
And this kind of shows exactly like how long it's been and what kind of story they're encompassing here. And it's just that line that Galadriel has that's like, there was a time when the world was so young that there had not yet been a sunrise.
The sunrise, yeah.
It was so cute. It was so beautiful.
And this was so gorgeous. Imagery. Like the two trees. Oh, it was gorgeous. As soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, this feels Tolkien to me. This is immediately, I was like, yeah, this is Tolkien.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? It's just so, like, it's just so pretty.
Yeah.
Like, you can see where that $1 billion went.
Oh, for sure. Like, watching these episodes, I was like, okay, I understand now. I get it.
If it was anything less than this, I would have been like, really, $1 billion? But no,
exactly.
I get it.
No, I get it. They put that $1 billion to good use, for sure.
Yeah. And then we have the two trees being destroyed, which is really, really sad. And also, oops, you get more of my screen. Oh, well, I don't care. Which is really... I realized that they said Morgoth, Melkor, whoever did it, which is fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
And he did.
I was going to say, it's not untrue.
It's not wrong.
It's not incorrect. It's not incorrect, yes. It's just more...
Ungoliant.
Yes. It's more... There's more to it than that. But
yeah. And I guess Ungoliant must only appear in the Silmarillion, otherwise they may have done more.
I think so. That's what I was thinking, because I was like, they haven't mentioned Ungoliant at all. And I don't think they can. I don't think they can. And so I was like, okay, so then Ungoliant must only appear in the Silmarillion. Which that makes sense.
Yeah, I
But
mean, and it's not that Melkor didn't like direct Ungoliant. Like he was definitely
no,
the big bad and stuff.
of
Like I
course.
get it, it's fine.
Yeah.
But Ungoliant was the one that destroyed the two trees. End book cloak moment. Sorry.
Also, before I forget,
Oh yes.
I loved. So just as soon as Galadriel started doing the voiceover, it immediately took me back to the first time I was sitting in a movie theater watching Fellowship of the Ring, and that was
Yes,
special
because
to me.
I mean, I remember seeing Fellowship and just being like, "Who is this badass lady? Who is this badass lady?" And then she shows up, and she's still a badass lady, and it's
Still a
just
badass
amazing.
lady. Yeah, incredible.
But,
Yeah,
and then we kind of get into the war, which is the War of Wrath.
Yes.
And this is the first stage where they defeat Morgoth, basically. Sorry, spoilers, but literally 2 minutes later.
yeah. I was gonna say it's. I mean, they tell you straight up, but
Yeah, so I loved this shot of like all of the ships sailing out
yeah.
of Valinor because
Yes.
you see this paralleled later, and also the birds on the top, same
Yeah.
birds and stuff. And you see them leaving, and no, we're gonna get to the Doom of Mandos a little bit later. We can't go there yet.
No.
And then more shots of the battle. This was in the promo, and that was a really really cool shot.
It was a really cool shot, and it really like I liked that they really depicted the scale of the destruction. They really depicted, and I mean, I don't know if you have a screenshot of it later, but the pile of
Don't have the helmet pile.
and you know
But
what?
yes, the helmet pile.
I should have because you asked,
You're
and I should have
fine.
said that.
I thought about the helmet pile, but then I was like,
yeah.
"There's already so many Galadriel screenshots."
I know. It's okay. We can let's. I say we lean in to the fact that we
Lean
are
into
both
our Galadriel love.
we are both
Morphidriel.
Morphidriel. Is that how you say
It's
it?
not going to work. That's not
I
a
don't
good.
think so. No.
I loved this like 5-second
Yeah.
clip
Yeah.
where you just see like dragons battling
cool.
eagles.
Oh my god! It just felt like it. I feel like they put. I think I think throughout both episodes, but especially in this sort of opening monologue by Galadriel, I feel like they put the most amount of like little Easter eggs in for the movies, like in these moments, because you get like you get the ships, and we got that at the end of like in Return of the King, and then and then this moment we see the eagles and the dragons, and like it's just I love it.
It's really good. Like
It's really
just
good.
really good,
Yeah,
and it makes me happy.
yeah. I cried a little bit. I cried a little bit at the very beginning. I got a little bit emotional when Galadriel started speaking, and I was like, "Oh, okay, we're back in this world. This is nice." Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And I loved this shot too of Sauron. I like how they introduced the story of, okay, Morgoth was defeated. That's not the story we're talking about, even though
No.
Morgoth is like
The big
Sauron's
bat.
big, like
Yeah.
Sauron is just like a lieutenant, like very
Yes.
strong, very powerful, but they got
Very.
like they're this is his story.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I liked the build up. It was just enough that it made me a little curious without being like, okay, well, we already know where this is going, because we do know where it's going, but
We do. But we do, but we don't though. That's the thing.
we don't know how
That's
it's going to
what's
get there.
exciting. Yes,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah.
So then they talk a little bit about how Sauron is vanishing, Sauron vanished, but then Finrod, who we saw in the beginning, he was killed. I liked the touch here because Finrod
Yes.
was killed by a werewolf,
He was.
and so the scratches
The
here,
claws. Yeah.
the claw marks, it was a really, really good. Like, just that was just for book people.
Yeah. And it was a good way of getting around not specifically referencing what happened, but kind
Right.
of referencing what happened. Because
Yeah.
like it doesn't say
It's an Easter egg.
exactly. Yeah, it's an Easter egg. And it's really I like that they did that, where like it works for both people who only are watching the show and also diehard book fans, because
Yeah.
we both get it.
Yeah. I'm sure people will be, I don't know. I'm not going to dwell on what
can't.
actual people
No.
that are
No.
angry and sad are going to say.
Because it's gonna make me, yeah.
They can't take away my joy.
Nope, I refuse.
Then we introduced this like weird pitchfork symbol, which I tried to do a little bit of research. I don't know anything
Yeah.
about this appearing in the books.
No.
I mean, there's the Eye of Sauron, which is a very
Yes.
prolific symbol, but I think this is
Right.
just for the show.
I think this is a show thing. I think it works really well though, because I think it's a way to connect specifically with people who are not super familiar with the books. So they have the symbol and they can connect that immediately with Sauron. So like anytime it appears anywhere else in like even the most like
Right.
seemingly innocuous place, people are going to be like, wait a minute, I know that symbol,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, no, I thought it was a really interesting thing. I've actually seen some theories about how it overlays with the map, but you know how like some people can get with reading too far into things. Just a little bit.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I
You
know
don't know
nothing
anything about that?
No.
You don't know anything
I've
about
never
that?
seen that
Okay,
happen.
well. Overall, I really liked how they introduced. Actually, here, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. There we go. Overall, I really liked how they introduced the backstory of it, because it was a good length. I think it was like
Yeah.
8 or 9 minutes. It was
Maybe.
a little
Yeah.
less.
Yeah.
It was just enough to like give you here's what happened. We're gonna tell you more later, obviously, but
Yeah.
just to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
They did a good job setting it up, and it was really beautiful. Like the
It
entire
was
thing's beautiful. but-
gorgeous. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think they set a really good foundation of okay, this is our starting point. I don't think they've, and we can talk about this a little bit later with what we expect, but I don't think we've even really gotten into the meat of the story yet. We're still in like the introduction phase, kind of like we're like
Yeah.
kind of pulling.
I mean, they're planning-
pulling. They're doing a lot.
They're planning 5 seasons.
Yes.
10 episodes each. That's 50 hours, and
Yeah.
we're just 2 hours in.
It's a lot. Yeah. Yeah. We're not
Wait.
even, I don't think we've even, we haven't even gotten to like the hook of the story. I think like the hook of the plot really yet. We're still kind of like, they're still setting everything up, which I'm fine with because there are 10 episodes. So you have a little bit more room to play with. The episodes are also a little bit longer than most other Amazon shows streaming.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they have a lot of room, and it was a really good thing.
Yeah.
It was really, really well done.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to go into Galadriel, or as they say it in the show, Galadriel.
Galadriel?
I feel like Moira Rose trying to pronounce it. Galadriel. Galadriel.
Galadriel.
It's not Galadriel. It's Galadriel.
Galadriel.
Galadriel. So we went a little bit into this, going back to the beginning of her story. I liked this because it showed a lot of her ingenuity and her like fierce protectiveness. And I didn't like the little bitches that were like bullying her. Like, I don't know what that was about, because even as a kid, like, I mean, I'm sure there's elf bullies, but
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was kind of like a small moment, but I liked that they showed that because I feel like there's this perception that all elves are wise and kind and, you know, like very serene. And it's just like, no, elves are people.
elves are
some
still
of them-
people. Like,
Yeah, they're still people. And some of them are shitty.
very shitty. Like these little. I used a stronger word in our planning document, but I don't know how sensory YouTube's gonna get. So, and then here we have Finrod's lesson to Galadriel about
Beautiful.
the light and the wisdom of like knowing the difference between light and dark, and we don't hear what he whispers until later.
Yeah.
but he says sometimes we cannot know until we have touched the darkness.
Right.
And even baby Galadriel, who I don't know how elf aging works. I don't know if she's like 12 or like 400.
Who knows?
Oh.
400.
Either way, she's young.
She's young. Either way.
Either way, she's like a kid.
She's a kid.
But she is like super. She's like, yeah, but what about how like things reflect off of it? And
yes.
she's throwing that shit out there, and I'm like, oh,
like,
okay.
What is okay? Okay. Wow. Can you imagine just conversations with her and her parents? Like, and I feel like this is not like an elvish thing. This is a Galadriel specific thing. This is
like
this
she
is just
takes
how
that,
she is.
she takes that precocious kid thing, and she's like, no, I'm gonna do it better.
Oh yeah.
I'm not precocious. I am actually better than you.
Yes, I'm literally better than you.
Like, I am the wisest and fairest of all beings.
Yeah. And it
even
shows.
as a 4-year-old, 400-year-old child.
Exactly. Yeah.
But and then so I will say we're gonna jump ahead a little bit to I don't know how to pronounce this with it. I think it's Forward Wave.
Oh.
The icy area, the icy caves.
icy place. Yeah.
I was a little sad that it wasn't the Helcaraxi.
I know.
Which was so the Helcaraxi, for people that don't mind lore spoilers or whatever, basically when Galadriel traveled over to Middle Earth, she couldn't use the ships because the ships had all been burnt and destroyed by Fëanor, who is a little bitch.
Oh, God.
And so she had to like go around like an ice continent where a whole bunch of people died, but she survived, and I thought that would be really cool, but I'm cool with this. It still looked really cool. It was so cool.
Yeah.
I used this screenshot here just because I loved that she just punched the wall.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Because of course she did. Of course she did.
Because she said, what? A wall? But I'm Galadriel.
I'm Galadriel.
I'm Galadriel. Again,
Galadriel.
more Galadriel.
It's Galadriel.
But yeah, she's been hunting orcs for centuries because Galadriel does not believe that Sauron is gone, which...
And she's correct.
She's right.
Yep.
She's correct. Gil-galad, you dumb bitch.
We'll get to Gil-galad. We will get to him.
My hatred for Gil-galad runneth over.
We will get to him. Because I have...
There are thoughts. But... Oh, I skipped. These are a little out of order, but she kills the ice troll, which is, like, the coolest fucking... She, so cool. The dude, like, put down his sword and was like, here, run and jump.
Like, springboard. I was like,
And she just got, like, a combo on him.
In that? It's, so good. So good.
And she just, like, combo kills him, and then... Yeah. My favorite part is probably... Like, I loved the entire thing because it was just so quick and masterful. But my favorite part was when, like, he tried to, like, live again, or he tried... And then she was like...
Boop. She was like, no. Nope. Boop. Goodbye.
Sword boop.
Goodbye. With the pointy end. Sword boop with the pointy end.
Yes.
Yeah, this was it, and I like that they're showing like she is like extremely competent. She's not just like, you know, like she's doing this for a reason, and and she's a leader for a reason. She's not just doing this, you know.
Like, she's very willful, and we like that about her.
Yes.
But you can tell in this scene that they're like, look, it's literally been like 500 years.
Yeah, we cannot do this.
We're kind of anymore. Done.
Yeah. Which, like, you know what? That's understandable. I get, like, it's because they haven't found anything. They've found bits and pieces, but they haven't found anything concrete. But Galadriel, obviously, because she is the wisest.
She knows.
She knows. But that doesn't... They can't... take her at her word at that. And, you know, it's easy. At first I was like, oh, why can't you just listen to Galadriel? But then when you take into account, like, they've been following her for, what is it, 500 years?
Yep.
How many years?
I mean, it's been, I don't know if
years.
it's been, I think it's several centuries.
Several centuries at least. Even if it had been a century, that's a long fucking time to be away from home, away from your family, away from your loved ones, and following, like, you know, maybe the first, like, 50 years, you're like, yes, we are doing this, we are getting this done, we are going to find him. And then after a certain point, you're like, this is hopeless. This is impossible. This is an impossible task.
Like, yeah, there's just no way you can... It's hard. I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
My note said, who the fuck is this stupid bitch challenging Galadriel's command?
Yes, it did.
Who the fuck do you think you are? And then I used the X-ray feature, and I was like, Thondir. The stupid
Thondir,
bitch's name is Thondir.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I wrote, Thondir, you traitorous bastard.
Yeah.
At this moment. Because I was just...
Because fuck him.
Oh yeah, this should have been a little bit earlier, but they talk a little bit about the unseen world, and that's really interesting. Because that part isn't... It's what Sauron kind of taps into when he's the necromancer and stuff, and this is a very disturbing image.
It is.
And it's very... I don't know. There's Thondir.
Yeah. It's interesting that I was actually surprised that they referenced that. I was not expecting, at least not right now anyway. I wasn't expecting them to reference it right this minute. It is interesting.
Yeah.
That was very, and Thondir is completely correct, because I think his first words were, "What devilry is this?"
Right.
Or something along those lines. I was like, "Yep."
There's something that is said here that is very interesting, which is, and we'll come back to it, but how it is so evil here that the torches don't give off heat.
Heat, yes.
Yes. So, this place is so evil, even the fires give off no warmth, is what she says. So it's... We'll kind of come back to that in a minute, but, like 20 minutes.
Something like that. Something.
So after...
Oh my God.
She's just so pretty.
I'm sorry to be a gigantic lesbian, but she's just so beautiful. She's just so gorgeous. Like, every time I don't have words. James?
I'm just staring, and I'm like, I get, like, I'm just so happy with her. She's so pretty.
So when they first announced that they were doing the show, and they announced the casting and everything like that, at first I was like, no, Cate Blanchett is Galadriel for me. Cate Blanchett is Galadriel. I will hear nothing else. If it's not Cate Blanchett, I don't want it. I take that back. I was wrong. I apologize. I admit that publicly. I was incorrect. She is fantastic as Galadriel.
Yeah, and I think it took me a while to kind of understand that this is a very different Galadriel. Like, it's still Galadriel, but she's like millennia younger. And she's not as wise. And that gives her the ability to grow and become Cate Blanchett. So I just hope at the very end, like, I know it won't happen, but like the last episode, I want it to like fade to Cate Blanchett.
I mean, we don't know it won't happen. How do we know that? We don't know. Anything can happen.
I know it's not going to tie in to Lord of the Rings because it's a different thing, but
yes, it is.
I can easily see it happening.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, she comes back to God, where are we right now? Linden.
Linden. I was going to say Lorien. I was like, that's not right.
It's Lorien-esque.
I mean, it is. Yeah, it is.
This dress. This shot.
is, I think it's one of my favorites of both of the episodes. It's gorgeous. Like the leaves on her dress, like oh.
It makes me really happy.
It's just so beautiful.
Going back here a little bit, there was that. I don't have a problem with Elrond.
No, I don't
And
either.
who the fuck does he think he is?
Who does he think he is? Who does he think he is?
Like, and I want... No, you know what? This is full spoilers for, like, lore of Lord of the Rings and Middle-earth, so just, like...
James, we are well past that point.
I'm like, bitch, this is gonna be your mother-in-law, so show some respect, please?
That's what I was saying. I was like, wait a second. Where in the time... I was trying to do timeline calculations. I was like, okay, Galadriel is not married yet. Like, it's and so I was like, okay, so that connection hasn't happened yet. But still... Galadriel is significantly older than him. Significantly.
And Elrond has this thing when they're looking at the tapestry, and he was like, "I hear there's this beautiful song that you hear." And Galadriel's like, "Yeah, I invented the fucking song, you dumb bitch."
I know. She's like, he does, and you know what? I will get to Celebrimbor. I think I'm saying his name right. Yeah, we'll get to him later. He does the same thing with Celebrimbor. He's like explaining about like the hammer, and Celebrimbor is kind of looking at him like, "Yes, I know, I know."
He's a little douchey in this, and I don't know how I feel about it. Like, he has a lot of growth.
Yes,
he has a big opportunity, and he might not. Hugo Weaving might not show up at the end. I don't.
Yes. No, I don't. I don't know that he will. I don't know that. No. I don't think so. This
Elrond doesn't quite have Hugo Weaving potential in my mind, but
no,
prove me wrong.
I would love to listen. I would love to be proven wrong, but I don't.
Like, he's a smarmy little fuck.
Oh, like he's and it's. We're going to talk about it, and because I think we're coming up sort of to that point.
Yes,
him and Gil-galad sort of essentially conspiring together, from what I gathered, to get Galadriel sent.
Yeah, we're going to touch on that in Elrond's piece, but also here is when I had my I need to pause it for like 5 minutes and think moment.
I know.
So
this is significant. It's a significant. I think this is the most the significant departure from the source material. So far.
Yeah, I mean, and it's fine. I get what they're doing with it. I completely understand the story purposes it serves. Like, Gil-galad is a politician. He was a High King. We kind of only hear about the great things he did, but he was probably like, there's nothing saying he's not a dick. But we'll get to Gil-galad in a second. I'm just. So, I just don't know where to start. So when Galadriel leaves Valinor, she and Fëanor, or Fëanor, whatever, however you say his name.
Yeah.
They aren't allowed back.
Right.
Because they left, and the Valar were like, no, if you come back, if you leave, you cannot come back. Like, you cannot. Come back. Like, we won't let you. Like, the door is closed. Yeah. We're going to change the locks.
Yeah.
We're going to change it to a new type of lock. And they all leave knowing that.
Yes.
And the thing is, they literally can't come back. So when Galadriel's talking about home, it happened a little bit earlier, too, when she was talking to whatever the Thondir or whatever.
Thondir?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thondir about how, like, until my last enemy is vanquished, I cannot return. Yes. And I'm like, okay, technically correct, kind of.
Technically correct.
I get where you're going.
Yeah.
Because that's part of, like, her vow to, like, helping Finrod. And when she left Valinor, her dream, it wasn't because she loved Fëanor, because Fëanor was a dick. It was because she wanted to have her own little kingdom.
Right.
And she is literally, in this picture, she is literally the most powerful and the oldest being in this picture.
Yes.
But she doesn't want to be a politician, so she doesn't want to be High King, and also
No.
misogyny. So
And also, well. Exactly.
meow.
Yeah.
Meow.
You know.
But she's not allowed back. So the thing is, like, this was a huge, and it's a huge thing. Like,
It's a significant.
Feanor's-
It's a significant plot point. Like the fact that she is not allowed back is kind of a big deal.
in the Fellowship of the Ring, when Frodo offers her the ring, when she says, "I have passed the test, I will sail into the east and remain or west and remain Galadriel." That is her being allowed to come back because she was tempted by the evil that is the One
Right.
Ring, and then the Mandos, the god that was like, "No, you can't come back," was like, "No, you're good."
Yeah.
Like, it was a big thing.
Yeah.
And so for them to like not have the doom of Mandos was just it was really weird because it's such a huge part of Galadriel's story.
It is. But like,
don't know. Do you have
mean,
thoughts?
how much is that? So it's because I definitely noticed it too. It's kind of impossible not to notice if you're not, if you're familiar at all with the books or with anything Tolkien. I wonder how much of the choice here was an intentional choice or a choice that they had to make because of what they had, what rights they had to what. And so I wonder how much. Yeah, I wonder how much. What percentage of it was a choice and what percentage of it was a necessity? Because if it was a necessity, then I get it. There's. Yeah.
Yeah, but if it was a choice,
if it was a
then
choice,
it's kind of
an interesting one because it's not a choice they necessarily had to make. They didn't have to do it this way. I don't know.
And like I said, I mean, I understand the reasons behind it. Gil-galad is a
Yeah.
political garbage man, but it's just, I get it. It creates tension and it makes a huge moment later, which we'll get to, but
Yes.
it was the first time that I paused and I was like, stopping and screeching. And I'm like, oh, hold up.
Huh? What?
Huh?
Okay.
Huh? ¿Por qué?
Yeah.
¿Por qué?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh god, I didn't intend to take this screenshot, but I saw him
You know
looking
what?
like this.
It's fitting though. It's fitting. And you know what? If it were, he looks. The design is good. It's
So
a good
good.
design. I just don't like. I don't like his acting choices. I don't know if that's what you call them. Like maybe it's that I don't like him. Maybe that's what it is.
I think it's that you don't like him because I don't like him either.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah. I think maybe that's what it is.
I get very Maxwell Lord from Wonder Woman vibes out of this.
Yes.
Come with me, and you too can be rich. Like
That's
bitch, you're not
exactly
fooling
it.
anyone except he is
Oh
fooling
my
everyone.
god. Yeah. He yeah. Anyway.
I didn't actually notice, but I love Galadriel's outfits at all times.
Yeah. It's
But
really
this-
yeah.
It's so beautiful. Oh, and the other thing I was going to mention, Gil-galad would have known, so Gil-galad is not a high elf.
No, he's not.
He was not there. He wasn't subject to the doom of Mandos, but he still would have known about it because he's
He
like
would
the
have
High
known.
King. Like,
It was a pretty big deal. It was a big thing that happened. So he would have
Yeah.
known.
it
so
like
it's
affected
like-
their entire race. It wasn't just
No.
LOL. It was
Yeah.
this is what you learn in elf kindergarten is that you're
Yeah.
cursed.
Exactly. It's so the more I think about it, the more I think it had to have been a rights thing. Because I don't see why they would make the choice otherwise, Like it's not
Yeah.
something they have to do. They could have
And you know what?
created tension other ways, but I don't know.
I'm choosing to believe that because I want to.
Yes. I know.
So.
This is where I'm at. Maybe that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to convince myself that that's the case.
And that's okay. We're here to enable each other.
Thank you.
That's what this is for.
That's what exactly. That's what this is for.
This isn't for YouTube. It's us talking to each other and
No,
group therapy and the Rings of
Exactly.
Power. And you just get to witness it. Hey,
You get
everyone.
to see it. Hey.
So this scene, there's I think it's the next screenshot. Mm-hmm. So this one, when Elrond is again being his smarmy little fucking self, and he's like, "Hey, look, if something does happen after you leave, I'll take care of it." Bitch, what are you gonna do? Read a poem to Sauron?
This is, I mean, it, and I understand they're wanting to create tension, because if everyone agreed with Galadriel, the story would kind of be over. And so I get it. But at the same time, you're talking to Galadriel. You're talking to Galadriel. And this is how you're speaking to her? You're speaking to her like she doesn't know what the fuck she's... are we allowed to swear?
We've been swearing for a while.
Oh, okay. We've already passed that bridge. Okay. You're talking like she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. Like,
You're mansplaining to Galadriel because she's strong-willed. Get the fuck out of here, Elrond.
please. It's just, and I don't, I'm so perplexed by this. I'm so upset by this because I don't want to dislike Elrond. The second episode helped. The second episode helped significantly his character, and I hope that I hope that continues, because I don't want to dislike Elrond. I love Elrond. Maybe it's that I love Hugo Weaving. Maybe that's what it is. I love Hugo Weaving as Elrond. That's what it is.
Is that what's happening? And we're having a hard time? Because I don't have a strong opinion on Elrond. I think Elrond in Lord of the Rings is fine. I think Hugo Weaving is excellent, but
Yeah.
Elrond as a whole, I'm like, he's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, do I have a figure of Hugo Weaving as Elrond at the Battle of Dol Guldur on my shelf that I'm looking at right now? Yes.
There you go.
Do I love him a whole bunch? I just
course.
am a completionist and I wanted everybody in that set.
You wanted all the things. Okay. That's understandable.
I've noticed that
Yeah.
right behind me is the Galadriel Dark Queen
I was
figure.
going to say, it is, yeah. And I love
I've also
that.
been holding Galadriel's file.
Oh, wait, where did you get that from? Where's
What
that
Galadriel's
Send me the
file. And it
details
fills
for
with
that,
like actual
please.
liquid. Like it has an actual I put tiny little bits of mica powder in there so it would glow like it would be a little
So
silver.
it glows?
Oh yeah, and the base does light up. The battery died because I accidentally left it on, but it does light up. It has a cute little base. It's
my
very
God.
cool. And it just sits like right like that.
That's so cool.
And
I
it's
need
not
you
that
to send me the information for that if you can find it, please, and thank you.
I can find it. It's
Okay.
I'll just go through my order history, which is shh, we don't talk about that.
Okay, we won't talk about it.
But yeah, so Galadriel
Yes.
here. I think it's the next scene. Oh,
Ooh! As soon as I saw it, I was like, I need to remember to tell James we have to talk about this moment. And then I was like, what am I saying? Of course, James is going to be on this. Of course, James is going to be on this.
this Gnarl is. She is channeling Matt, one of our other podcast hosts.
I was going to say, she is feral in this moment.
She is.
Oh,
She lets her cool slip.
ooh.
And she is like, who the fuck are you? And I'm like, yes. Like, I want to make a gif of it.
Yeah.
I will.
You can see the energy, like, and I feel like she's obviously she's doing her own thing for Galadriel, but I feel like you can see the influence of Kate Blanchett, especially here, where like, you know, like it's like I think this version of Galadriel struggles a bit with maintaining her composure, and she's still trying to find that balance. Galadriel in the movies has already gotten there, but like that moment where like, you know, in place of a Dark Lord you will have a queen, and like, you know, like where she kind of goes off, and you get like that energy that Galadriel
That's
has here.
this.
I was like, That's
That
this.
is-
That's what this is.
And I like to think that Morfydd Clark and Kate Blanchett spent like a couple of weeks together just talking about
Yeah.
Galadriel. You know what? And if anyone tells me, like in an interview,
No.
that Morfydd Clark says, "I've never met Kate
We
Blanchett,"
don't wanna hear
I
it.
just choose to believe that's a lie.
We don't want to hear it. Yeah.
I like to think of them just bonding together, talking about Galadriel.
Yeah.
So,
Same.
but then,
But then,
after all of this,
Wah,
where
wah.
she's yelling at Elrond, she's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Okay, I'll go."
yeah, I know. I was like, okay, that seems. you gave into
And-
that real quick.
Yeah, I'm like, there wasn't any struggle there.
No.
Like, so this was a questionable choice. I don't care really just because of how it ends. And I liked the scene. I just thought the choice was really weird.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, it was an odd choice. I don't get it. I now I appreciate it for the drama that it causes later. But it didn't make sense. It did not make sense to me.
Yeah, it was. I love. And. Oh, so one thing I wonder here is what happens to these elf attendants? Do they also get to go to Valinor?
I
Do
guess
they, like,
so.
steer the ship just up to the door so it sucks up their souls and their
Sucks up
matter?
their souls.
And then the elf attendants are, like, huddled in the back or something?
Yeah.
And they're like, nope, not our
They're-
time yet. We still have
They're
attending
treated
to
as
do.
carry-on. They're treated as carry-ons.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I loved
I mean-
the, like, taking all of their armor off, and they're all wearing their beautiful Mormon underwear. And it was...
And the singing, James.
The singing when Galadriel... They're all singing, and Galadriel looks at them
They're all
like,
singing, and Galadriel's like, "What the fuck are you doing?
what's...
What is going on
That's
here?"
not how that song goes. Got the lyrics all wrong.
All wrong. This is not right.
I wrote this song. But again, I love the birds. I love the how it harkens back to Valinor opening up. And then this shot is just, we're going to spend a little bit of time.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Let's just take a moment. Let's take a moment.
She's just so pretty.
Yeah. Just.
And the ears look so good. Like in Lord
Yeah.
of the Rings, they looked a little odd sometimes, but these look good.
Yeah. No, these look good. Like it's you. If I didn't know better, I would say that's just how her ears look. Like those are her ears. They look real good. Prosthetics have come a long way. It seems.
Yeah.
Like. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the guy's name, the person's name, but one of the makeup artists from The Lord of the Rings goes to Emerald City Comic Con a lot, and he did all of the he did a lot of the prosthetics for the ears and feet and stuff, and he had some left over from the movies that he brought to Emerald City Comic Con. So Travis, my husband, and I got originals from the movies put on, and we still
That's
have
so
them.
cool.
Like, they weren't used, obviously, but they
Of
were ones
course,
made
yeah.
for the films, and it was like 20
Right.
years later, and they brought some to Comic-Con, and I was like, yes.
That's so cool.
But then Galadriel notes out.
Yep.
She says,
It's,
heaven?
I mean,
No.
I don't think so. I'm out. See ya. Bye.
Peace. I think my
Yep.
exact note was, Galadriel pieces out of heaven.
Yeah. I mean, that's what she does. That is pretty. That's essentially what happens. And like, leave it to Galadriel to do it in the most dramatic way possible. She's like, "This is my moment. This is my time." I think I wrote in the notes actually, like, her and Moraine would like. They should start a club. They really
They
should
should
start a club
definitely start a club.
because
It's amazing.
I love
how-
it. I love it.
She just, like, heaven is literally there, and apparently heaven is accepting her right now. And she was like, no, I'm good. It's all good. I got this knife. This knife's really cool. I
Yeah.
can't take this knife there, Okay, bye.
Mm-hmm.
That's not
the
included
knife's
in my
not there, I'm not
carry-on, but these
interested.
attendants are. No.
Yeah.
No. So
It's,
then we
I
have.
love it though.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But then we have Galadriel. I couldn't get a good screenshot of this, so I got what I got. But
Oh my god.
but
Put it in the
So-
Louvre. Put it in the Louvre. Incredible.
this is on par with Nynaeve pushing Egwene off the cliff.
Yeah, it's real good.
Except Egwene isn't like several thousand years old and the wisest thing in the entire world.
Yes.
This
Right.
common like fish woman
Yeah.
was like, yeet.
Just like, fuck you specifically.
Fuck your drag.
No. Fuck your drag. Exactly.
The elf woman, the elf brought it to us and just yeeted her. And I'm like,
Just yeeted her. I was like, okay. It's a strong, bold choice.
and then they all
decision.
die, so it's great. But
Yeah.
oh
Oh my god.
eating Galadriel,
Just
like
yeeting Galadriel off. Can you imagine? What must Galadriel have been thinking in that moment? Like,
Galadriel was already like, some bitch touched me.
yeah.
Like she's a little vain, and I'm good with that.
Yeah.
She's earned it.
She's earned it. Of course.
But then she like is swimming for probably days,
Days. It's gotta
weeks,
be
maybe.
days.
We don't know.
Yeah. We don't know the
Because
time.
her
We
entire
don't
thing
know.
was she jumped off, and she's like, okay, I guess I'm gonna swim across the ocean out of spite.
I guess I'm swimming across the ocean now. Across the sea.
And she finally makes it to this like ramshackle fucking boat.
Mm-hmm.
And then they yeet her off of
And
it.
then they just
And
so good.
it's just it hurts, but it's also the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
It's so good. It's so funny. Because like, I mean, they don't know who she is. They
They
don't know who
couldn't
she
tell
is.
her from she's just a knife ear.
She's just an elf. She doesn't mean anything to them. And so like
I'm not saying it's
So
like
good.
if Jesus came to your door and then you like shoved him down the stairs.
no,
But
but,
it's
like
on-
it's
it's-
like it's like
It's
if
like the Pope.
yes.
It's like if the
It's
Pope
like if
came
the
to your
Pope
door and you
came
were
to your
like,
door
I don't know who
and
you
you
are.
Sparta
look like
kicked him. You Sparta kicked him. Now, I will say,
this is
if
Pope.
the Pope came, if the Pope came to my door, I would Sparta kick him.
We
to be
might.
clear,
I mean,
would
this one's
do
okay,
that.
but still probably lightly.
You know,
They put a pillow at the end.
well, yeah, comparatively, I suppose better. Yeah,
But this is just this.
it's wild. It's so funny though. It made me just like, nope.
This one made
Nope.
me laugh, and this is from episode 2,
Yeah.
so I was already laughing a little bit because of the dwarves and stuff. Because I think this happened after that. I don't know; it all blurred together,
Yes.
but it was just. It was.
It's so
look at
good.
her.
So good.
All right, what are you?
Delicious.
Okay, so then they all die,
Yeah, then they all die.
but then we have this. Oh, what is his name? He's new, so I don't know him.
Halberd? Halbard?
Hallbrand, I think.
Hallbrand?
I think it's Hallbrand.
Hallbrand. Okay. That sounds right. I know it's
It
Hall
makes me
something.
think about like that ugly kid at the end of the Two Towers, Haleth, son of
Yeah. Hellas,
Something.
son of Hama?
Hama.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes me think of
Yeah.
that, but he's not the weird ugly kid. Sorry,
No, he's
actor that played Haleth. I love you. Call me.
Yeah, I don't trust this guy.
I don't
I don't
either.
trust him.
And he has secrets, as evidenced by this little like brooch.
The strange
So you'll
pouch
notice
around
in
his
here, you'll notice in the pouch there's a vial,
Mm-hmm.
and guess who else has a vial? Bronwyn.
Interesting. Interesting.
And he says he's from the Southlands, so
Yep.
I wonder where the connection is.
A mystery. I suspect that he's from the town or village that they found destroyed, basically.
Yes.
I think they were the people here were whoever escaped from whatever happened there.
Yeah. I mean, I have to assume
that is my suspicion. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't quite make out what is on the pendant.
Neither can I. No.
It's just, but yeah, it's just. I mean, it was very obvious that there's a connection to Bronwyn. So.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
And then Olmo, the god of the Valar of the Sea, gets mad and decides to like do a little fun.
He gets real upset.
He says, "My ocean." So there's
Trying
the
to
storm.
cross my ocean.
My ocean. And then, like, I kind of loved this moment where it was. What did she say exactly? She said,
"Tether yourself to me," I think, or something.
"Bind yourself to me."
Bind yourself to me. Something.
Yeah, it was. It was really good. Oh yes, give me your hand, bind yourself to me.
Bind yourself to me.
And then she falls and like.
And then
and then
less than a minute later falls.
There was also right after this bit, there was that speech where Galadriel gave to Halbrand when he was like, "Oh, I'm so sad, I'm so sad," and
She's
Galadriel's like,
bitch.
"It would take your lifetime to count who has been taken from me."
Yep.
And I'm just imagining, like, what the hell?
Yeah.
That's
Just
such a
by
good
this
line.
point, she's lost
Everyone.
everything.
Yeah.
Everyone is gone.
She has one friend, Elrond, and he's a bitch.
Elrond, and we've seen him. So, yeah.
No, I'm curious about Halbrand. I think he is going to be a very interesting character. I don't know what vibe I get from him. I don't know if I like him. I don't know if he's going to be like a Ranger-esque Aragorn type of thing where he turns out to be a prince, or if he's going to be like a sneaky Grima Wormtongue thing.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see who he, like, whether he will, because he's not anywhere in Tolkien's works.
He was made up,
created for the show. But I'll be interested to see if there's specific parallels to other characters that are in Tolkien, and whether or not what we'll see from that down the line with his character. Right. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be. I'm curious. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm interested. Then we get the Númenóreans showing up. I mean, it's assumed to be the Númenóreans.
I assume so, yeah. Yeah.
So we're going to get more of those at the end. And Galadriel joining the Númenóreans is going to be very interesting.
I can't wait. I thought that we were getting Númenor in the first 2 episodes.
I did too.
Yeah. And I spent most of, because Númenor is my favorite. That is that whole kingdom, that whole thing, like it's one of my favorite things about that era of Middle Earth. I love it.
You probably know more about Númenor than I do, because I don't care about Númenor that much. Because I'm like, men?
Oh, interesting.
Men? Elves? Yes.
Now elves. Now dwarves.
Yes.
Yeah.
But men?
It's
Númenor is basically like Tolkien's Atlantis.
I know, it's true. It's true. You're not wrong. I still love them.
Oh no, it is good. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just I will learn about Númenor through this, and then you will have to be the one going like, that's not right. That's not right. No.
That is where I will shine. That is where I'll be like, oh, this is my time now. I get to talk about this.
So that's kind of all we have for... Oh, let me stop here, because I know how to do things. That's all we have for Galadriel. her storyline in the first 2 episodes, and we're already an hour in, and we're like,
I was just gonna say we're an hour in, and we've only talked about Galadriel.
And the prologue and the general
We talked about the
backstory.
prologue too. You're right. You're right. Okay.
But yeah,
Right, we
so
did.
we'll
Yeah.
see how this goes.
We'll see.
But yeah, so I loved it. I liked Galadriel. I think it was hard for me because I have Kate Blanchett Galadriel in my head, where she is the wisest and fairest of all beings, and she's amazing,
Yes.
blah, blah, blah. And this is not that, but this gives her room to grow. So
Yes, it
I like
does.
it.
Yeah, I like it too. And I kept reminding myself, like, okay, Galadriel is like, we know her as the wisest being ever, whatever. But she's not there yet. And so Galadriel, like, and even you can tell, like, she has growing and learning to do. She is still figuring out how to be alone, like, in the sense that, like, she's lost everyone, and she is trying to deal with that trauma, and
Yeah, I mean,
it's not
she's
going great.
she also needs some group therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
No, I mean, I'm very excited to see where she goes in future episodes. I mean, well, in the next 48 episodes, because she's sticking around
Well,
for the
yeah.
very end.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Like, all right. So now we're going to move on to the Southlands. And this one will go a little bit quicker because, I mean,
Yes.
the rest of them will go a little bit quicker because there's not as much.
Oh, for sure. No.
So we have, 1 second here. There we go. We have my new husband, Arondir.
Arondir.
I think it is everybody's new husband.
This is what
I
I've
do
seen.
not know. Okay, that's what you've seen. So you definitely it does nothing for you.
I mean, I can see okay. I can see the appeal. He is a very handsome man. It does nothing for me.
Okay.
It's always nice to have moments like this where, like, I see, like, very attractive men that other people are very attracted to, and I feel nothing, and I'm like, it's good tonight. It's nice to have, like, a little check-in about my sexuality.
Right.
And just realize, like,
I mean, that's
okay, it's still that.
Morfydd Clark shot where you were talking about being a giant lesbian. I was like, I get it. I don't feel anything, but she damn pretty.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And
So-
that's exactly how I feel about Arondir. Very handsome man. Does not do it for me, but I'm happy for everyone who is
happy
who
for
has a new
everyone
boyfriend.
involved.
I'm happy for everyone involved. Yeah.
And this little, I think his name is Rowan. I can't remember his name.
Yeah. That
The
sounds
little
right.
shit that says like knife ears. Like
Ooh,
I was
how
like,
dare.
I
How dare.
but,
Who do you think you're talking to?
like this ain't Galadriel. This is some Sylvan elf. So who gives a fuck? But also, who the fuck is you?
We're getting bold here. We're getting
And then he
bold.
talks about like someday our king will come back, and I'm like, are you talking about like Morgoth or Sauron?
Who is he? Yeah, I was like, which king are you referring to?
Because you're from the bad place.
Yes.
And you're clearly a little bad still. Like I thought it was weird because I'm like, this happened
It's very strange.
centuries ago. Like, why are y'all still oppressing these people? But then,
But then they started to open up their mouths, and I was like, I see.
that's why you do need to keep them in check.
Interesting.
Except Gil-galad's like, nah, it's all good now.
Everything's fine. COVID
There
is over,
is-
everyone. It's all good.
There is no
pandemic.
Sauron in Bossing Say.
Exactly. Very much that.
There is no Sauron in Bossing Say. Yes, this little fuck, I think his name is Rowan. I need to double check, but
Yeah.
I'm just going to call
Yeah.
him Rowan.
Okay.
But he is just. He's also the
Little
guy, the little friend that leads Theo, which we'll get to in a minute. Same.
Oh,
I have
talk
thoughts
about
on
Theo
how.
in a
I have
minute.
thoughts on Theo.
I have thoughts about him.
First of all, why is his name Theo?
Theo.
Aragorn, Legolas, Galadriel, Thranduil,
Theo.
Theo.
Theo. Well, at least the name
Thondir.
fits.
Thondir
I'm
is
sorry
better.
for everyone named Theo. It's nothing against you. It's just that. Anyway. Oh, okay. This one-
Bronwyn.
So I saw multiple times. I think multiple times in the Google Doc that we set up, that you set up for this. Multiple times I saw the phrase "Show me your ears."
And you can kind of see it here, but not quite,
Yes, you
because her
can.
ears are
Not
always
quite.
covered.
They're always. It's
And I'm-
just her hairstyle, though.
No,
It's just how she wears
she's
her
hiding
hair.
something. She might be like a half elf.
Why would she hide it? Why would she hide
Because
it?
they hate elves here.
Well, why would she hide it from Arondir?
I don't know. We have 48
Okay.
episodes to find out.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
It just stuck with me because every time I'm like,
I know.
she has to wear her hair differently. Days have passed. She can't.
This is just her hairstyle. This is the hairstyle for her.
She's hiding. She has secrets. She has
has
secrets,
secrets.
and they're hidden.
Her
in
hair
her
is full of
ears.
secrets in her ears. Okay.
What is
All
that
right.
from? Her hair is full. Of,
It's
is that Mean Girls?
It's Mean Girls. Yes, her
Yes,
hair
it's-
is,
okay.
her hair is full of secrets. Yeah, yeah, Mean Girls.
Okay, good. Good. We still get to BK.
Yeah,
But she's so pretty. She is so
gorgeous,
pretty.
gorgeous, gorgeous.
Like,
I really hope that Theo doesn't fuck up her life. I know that he's going to.
gonna. He's.
I hope he won't.
But then we're gonna get to the. So, okay.
Yeah. Oh
So-
my god.
And then, so my whole thing with this
Mm-hmm.
scene
Yes.
is because, like, the kid unearths this tunnel that they were at,
Mm-hmm.
and an orc comes out, and then his mom comes home,
He's like,
and he's in the cupboard, and he
fend
says,
for yourself.
"Bitch, take care of yourself."
You're on your own, mom. It's so good.
My note, which I was writing like on my phone while staring at the TV because I didn't want to like miss anything, so it was garbled and I had
Yeah.
to recorrect it. But it said, "Oh my God!" Theo closed the door and said, "Fuck you, mom. Go get your own help."
That's essentially what he did. That's essentially what he did. I couldn't believe it.
And I'm like, "Is this your mom? Like, do you know
Right?
her? Is it your sister that you don't like?" I guess it's never established. I don't know. I don't know if it is, but
I assume. I mean, it's the way that they interact. It very much seems like mother and son. So I
but
assume
fuck
it's
you,
her
mom.
son.
Go get your own help.
But he
Find your
really,
own cupboard,
he really
bitch.
looked her right in the eye. Looked at the hole with that tunnel. Looked his mother right in the eye, and was like, "Well, I guess you're on your own now," and closed the door.
And closed the door, and she was like, "Oh, I guess I am on my own now.
She's like, "Well, fuck.
Here's a
I guess
cupboard.
I am.
Here's a closet. I guess I'll go in
Guess
there."
I'm gonna hide there."
And then so I was really impressed with how she and Theo like took care of themselves.
Yes.
Like
That part I did like, because Theo, like he, that was good. I enjoyed that.
it was.
Now, was he doing it because he was trying to protect himself, or because he was trying to protect his mother?
It's just very confusing. Theo, who is next here? I realized I didn't actually take any screenshots of Theo. It was all the fork. I'm calling this
Yeah,
the cursed
it was the
fork. And I know it's not a fork. It's obviously a sword. It's obviously a sword.
Yes, very much a sword. Very much a
But-
sword. Most likely belonging adjacent to Sauron. I'm assuming.
Ooh, yeah. Let's actually. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a second, and then
Yeah.
I'm gonna go way back.
Because the hilt kind of reminds me of the sort of mace type thing that Sauron, like, you know, the not that one. There's like a, or maybe I'm thinking.
I know, but I'm
There was like
thinking,
a-
what if it's this
Yeah.
right here?
It could be that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That could be it.
Enhance.
It could be it. Enhance. Unblur.
I don't have that.
Okay.
I'm not CSI Miami. But yeah, no, it could very much be that. And I kind of like the idea that it is. I don't know.
I'm not mad about it. It's just I'm just baffled by the idea that
yeah,
he finds this thing. Even just looking at it, it looks evil.
It not a happy sword.
It's not a happy sword. It doesn't look good. And he bleeds, and then later he bleeds on it.
And it grows.
It grows. And he's like, I guess I'm taking this with me. I'm like, what?
I can't take my doll. I can't take my mom. I guess my mom has come in too, but this cool sword that grows when I bleed on it.
That grows with fire. What?
And yeah, I thought this was just a cool little close-up scene.
It's a very good.
And then you get the symbol.
You get the symbol.
In the sword again.
Yep. So this is definitely connected to Sauron. And I just, I
this
mean,
kid's so dumb.
I wrote, it's just, I wrote this in the notes too. Like, this Theo is currently in the fucking around part. He is firmly in the fucking around part, and I don't want to see when it gets to the finding out part, because I know that it's going to mostly fuck up his mom's life.
Right.
And maybe not so much his. You know what I mean? Like, it's I can feel it coming already, that it's gonna do something even worse than this. Like, it's gonna start influencing him, and oh, Theo. Oh, yeah. Theo.
My note said, Theo, that is clearly an evil sword, you stupid bitch.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god, Theo. The sword ate your blood and regrew, and you're still going to take it.
Exactly.
What?
What are we doing here? What are we doing here? This is why I don't have kids. This is why I don't want to have
this exact
kids.
reason, so they don't find cursed swords
so they don't find cursed swords that are going to just fuck up everyone's lives.
Okay. You know what? That's valid, and I respect that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So I think this is the last thing. I'm just gonna leave it on Theo for a minute, just so we can think about stupidity. This is all we have for the Southlanders right now. I am very curious to see how Arondir and Bronwyn and their secret love
what happens?
Blossoms.
Can you feel
the love tonight? So
I think that's all we can sing, but
oh yeah. Sorry, Disney, don't be mad. So what did you... Because I thought it was... I liked the fact that there was an elf of color.
Yes.
It was the only elf of color.
Yes.
It felt a little weird.
But it did. But we've seen of these elves that are in this area, because it seems like the elves of Lindon?
Yes, Lindon are the high elves.
The elves in Lindon. The high elves, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of racial...
Right, a lot of color diversity.
You know, there's not a lot of diversity there. It seems like these elves, there is, and of these elves, we've only seen...
Three
or four, yeah. Three? So
it's fine.
Doesn't bother me yet. It's okay for now. We will see. I will reserve judgment until we see a little more of them. But yes, I don't want that to be a thing.
Yeah, it was just a little odd. I'm like, I'm not going to say no to this.
No.
But I want more of it.
Yes.
It felt a little tokeny, but we'll see. We'll see. We're only 2 episodes in. We have 8 episodes left. There's a lot more that we have yet to see. So I'll reserve judgment until then. It's, yeah. So next we have...
One thing.
Oh. No, go ahead.
One thing. Okay. No, so I just wanted to say really quickly, I like that because this area that they're in, from what I understand, it's going to become Mordor, right? It's
I
the
believe
area
so.
for Mordor, right? Yeah, I think that's right. So it's interesting to see the progression of Sauron's influence, like kind of
Right.
happening in real time. Like we're seeing all of that because that's what we're seeing happening. It's that like like Sauron, because of his essence and like I mean also very specific things. I think he did like there was like an earthquake or something. Like he
Yeah.
did some other stuff to the land and everything too.
Earthshake.
But we are yeah, exactly. But
Ground shake? They called it something
seeing,
weird.
like something weird. It wasn't an earthquake. I can't remember the word that they used, but yeah, it's really interesting to see like the progression and like the corruption of Sauron spreading and just like, that sort of slow creeping in. And it reminds me, I think Galadriel, like she's talked earlier, I think in episode 1 or something like that, she's talking about how evil doesn't strike, it waits.
Yes.
And it's like, she's talking about how like you can't, that's not how evil works. It's not just gonna, especially it's not how Sauron works. Sauron knows exactly what he's doing.
Sauron
He
is a
biding
smart
his time.
bitch.
He is a smart bitch. And so he is biding his time. He's building up his resources. He is literally building up his army, I believe, at this point.
Mhm.
And he is starting to bend the actual land around him to his will so that he can make it into what he wants it to be. And it's really interesting to see like hints of that sort of corruption coming in, of like they're talking about like the grass being poisoned and the cow being sick, and like they come on this village and it's been destroyed, and it's just like, okay, this is what's happening.
Yeah, no, I think I'm very excited for this plot line because it's obviously the Sauron plot line, I think.
Yes.
I mean, there's a little
very
bit,
much,
well, we're
very
going to get
much.
to that in a minute, but
Yeah,
actually,
we'll get to it. How long can videos be for YouTube?
oh no, they can be like, because there's those like really long repeating ones of like music of like back.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so I'm sure it's fine.
Okay.
We'll find out.
Okay. We'll figure it out.
We'll deal with it. All right. So
Yeah. Okay.
we'll say
All right.
we're back. Now let me stop sharing my screen. Okay. Oh, that's a little high. There we go. Alrighty. So now we're going to talk about the cutest people.
Oh my
in
gosh.
The Harfoots. So before we start,
Harfoots.
I saw some criticism earlier, like before the show premiered, about how people were concerned that there's more hobbits, and I'm like, we've already had the Hobbit story, whatever. These hobbits are so different.
They're very different. Very, very different.
Like, they are nomadic people.
Yeah. You can tell that they are, because the hobbits, they're 3 groups. It's the Harfoots, the Stoors, and the Moorhides, I think. I think that's right. I think that's right. I'm going to double check.
Harfoots, Followhides, and Stoors.
Followhides and Stoors. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Followhides. So they're like, because they're 3, essentially they're 3 breeds of hobbits.
Right.
3 different like subgroups of hobbits. And you can tell that the Harfoots are very different from the hobbits that we see in The Hobbit and also in Lord of the Rings. Vastly.
So different. And I guess I knew a little bit about the Harfoots, but I love this depiction of them. So good.
It's so good. It's so good. Like that scene where the hunters leave and then they're like putting everything back together, like they're putting the camp back together. I was like, this is exactly the whimsy, like the whimsy that I like that Lord of the Rings includes. Like it's really, and I'm glad to see that we're still going to get that in this show, because I feel like it's a really important part of Lord of the Rings, and what makes it so special is that like they balance out the whimsy with like the really serious sort of moments.
And their culture is like so fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they looked
It's
a little
really good.
weird in the trailer, but like seeing it
Yeah.
all together, I'm like, oh, okay, it makes sense.
It makes complete sense. Complete sense. Yeah.
So we have our girl.
Yeah. There's
Nori.
her girl. There she is.
I
I love her.
she
I adore
is-
her already.
I know Disa has a special place in your heart, and Disa does have a special place in my
Yes.
heart, but Nori is
Yeah.
like, if anything happens to her,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
so the thing I love in the first bit, we see like Nori and Poppy, her BFF.
Yes. There's Poppy.
Like Nori goes off and shows the blackberries, but she is smart because she's like, there's a wolf here, we need
She
to be
is.
quiet and
Yes.
leave. Like, she is taking care of them.
Yes. James, I just want to take a second. I just love you so much. Because that's literally like that is exactly what those were literally my thoughts. When I was watching that, I was like, so often like you have the like a character like this one way or the other,
Mm-hmm.
and she's both. Like she is both like she's both that kid or like teen or however, I'm not sure
Tween.
exactly how old she is. Tween. She's that tween that's going to run off and go places that she's really not supposed to be, but also she takes care of them. And they listen to her. And they're like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
we got to go. We got to go.
She's like, they're all like, Nori lets us have our fun, but when Nori says it's time to go,
Mm-hmm.
we listen.
It's time to go. Yes.
We listen. We don't listen to our mother, we listen to Nori.
Yeah. We listen to Nori. Our mothers send us to Nori when we're not listening to that.
And I love Poppy. I love comedic relief
Mm-hmm.
Poppy because she is gold.
She's great.
This actress
fantastic.
is amazing.
Oh, she's so good. She's
I also
so good.
love the little coin in her hair here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just,
I love the details that they've put into, because like you can tell the Harfoots are more nature oriented. They are more connected to nature than the hobbits that we've seen in the movies and whatnot. And so like even with like with like the little buttons in your hair, with the things that they with what they eat, with it's just their homes. It's so good.
it's, the attention to detail is astounding.
Yeah.
So this happens right after the hunters appear. We have Sadek. I was going to say Sauron.
Sadek.
Sadek.
I was like, what?
Surprise plot twist. Episode 9. Sadek is actually Sauron.
Sadek and Sauron.
But I love the way this book looks. Like, I want
Yeah.
to study it.
I know. I love it. It's like it's very much like it's you almost get like astrology vibes from it. Like it's not maybe not astrology, but like it's more like,
It's very pagan.
you know, like it's very pagan, and I like that because like it's, I think with Lord of the
the
Rings there's a
Harfoots are
tendency.
pagans.
Yes. Yeah,
A
like
world
it's,
full
you
of
know, like there's
Christians.
exactly. It's like you get so many Christian vibes to it, and I mean it's not surprising because the author was very Christian
Devout.
and intentionally put those vibes in. But I like that with this, it's like no. These are different.
These are seasonal.
These
These are
people
seasonal
yes,
beings.
Yes. Yeah, I
No,
really,
it's-
really, really like that.
I just want to study it.
Yeah.
And Sadek,
There
we
he
both
is.
realized
There he
how much
is.
we love Sadek. He's my
There
favorite
he is.
because he's
Yeah,
so
I love
grumpy.
him. Yeah.
It's very
He's done with everything.
McGonagall.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, I put
I
in
can
my
see that.
time. Why am I still
Yeah.
doing this?
Why am I still
Because
doing
the
this?
bitches need me.
It's because they need me and because I love them.
Yeah.
That's why. He says through gritted teeth.
And
There he is.
he's just so mad. He's so mad.
I love him. And also, like, the Harfoots, the way they're described, they are described as browner skin than other sort of breeds, like other sort of sub whatever of hobbits. And I really like that you see that very clearly here. Like this is this is a different group of hobbits than we're seeing.
Yeah.
And I like that. I really appreciate that. And I just love the Harfoots so much. They're so good.
The Harfoots, and then we're going to get to them in a minute, but the dwarves are both amazing.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
So at the end of the first episode, the comet comes down, and the comet is it's an invention for the show. And it's very
it's very dramatic.
Which
so is
dramatic.
The intention. It's very dramatic. I don't know how I felt about it though, because
it feels random and not cheap. It feels out of place.
Yeah. Yeah, like and I understand, like they wanted, I think with the first episode, with the ending of it, they wanted something that ties together everything. And so like that's why you have the shot of like the comet streaking through the sky, and you see everyone so far that is part of the story looking at it. And also, did you see the Ents?
Yes, I did.
Did you see the Ents?
I should have gotten a screenshot of them. I loved them.
Yes. And so I was like, are we going to get Ent content?
I had to rewind because Travis missed them, and the Ents are his favorite creature. So I was like, do you see the Ents? And he's like, no. And I'm like, and this is why I ask you to put your phone away when we're watching movies.
Pay attention.
I love you. You're going to watch this probably. Sorry, it's so long. We got distracted.
We got very distracted. We just love this world so much. We have a lot of things to say.
The thing here that Nori says is it's not hot. So now we're going to hearken all the way back. When Galadriel says in the first one, the evil in this place is like so strong that it gives off no heat.
Yes.
And then later when he says, when the stranger, sorry, I know we're skipping ahead a tiny bit, but when the stranger says, like, what does he say? What is it? It's, what is it?
Because he's speaking, I know what you're talking about.
I'm trying to find it in my notes.
He says.
Mana ure or something. It translates to what is heat. So he has no idea what warmth is.
Nope.
So does that mean that he is completely evil? And is this Melkor?
If it is, that would be wild. That I don't know what I would do with that.
I understand why Sauron might. No, I don't. I was going to say, like, I kind of understand why Sauron might do this, but why would he interact with Nori at all?
I was just going to say, what would be the benefit of him interacting with Nori from anyone? Like, it's just not his thing. Like, he is going to go. Sauron is always going to go for the person who can get him what he wants. With, like, the least amount of, like, visibility. With the least amount of, like, you know, like, under the guise of whatever it is that he's doing, that's the person he's going to go for. And I don't know how she would be useful to him, you know?
Right. And so I'm like, okay, it's probably not Morgoth or Melkor. It's probably not Sauron.
No.
Is it Tom Bombadil? No. Is it one of the wizards?
So that briefly, I think it has to be. I think it's one of the wizards.
But then the bit about what is heat and evil and I mean, maybe I'm like one of those people grasping at straws here, but that seems like such a big connection.
Yeah, I know. I agree. And you know what? Until you said that, I was like, oh, I hadn't thought of it before. I hadn't made that connection. But like, I don't know, because they're going real hard. I think to make people think that this is Gandalf.
Yes.
That this is Mithrandir.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's now don't get me wrong. If it is Gandalf, somehow, I would be happy.
I'm fine with that.
Fine with that. I am fine with that. Because that would make sense. It could, like, canonically, it would make sense that it would be Gandalf. I could see that. Within the confines of what rights they have to what, I can see that.
But the thing is,
kind of.
Gandalf didn't appear in the Second Age.
I know it's not. It's the Third Age that it's the towards the beginning of the Third Age that he appears.
Yes,
I think
all the elves come over, and I'm just
I
because
know
they come over to prevent Sauron from like rising again.
yes, yes.
Or to
They're trying to prevent Sauron from doing his
thing again.
his
Yeah,
deeds. Yeah. They're trying.
And it's
they're
just
trying to stop it. I think he had. I don't know. It just doesn't. It doesn't make sense for him to be anything other than one of the Maiar. Maiar. I think that's.
And maybe he's one of the Maiar that we don't know.
It's possible.
Maybe they made a new.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Did they make a new Maiar? You know what? I'm cool with that.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that because so Gandalf specifically arrives in Middle Earth at the beginning of the Third Age.
Mm-hmm.
When do the rest of them? Because there are some that come earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Blue Wizards do come earlier.
They do. Right.
They're kind of. I mean, the Blue Wizards are very like not explored very much, but they come like and scout things a little bit. So maybe this is one of the Blue Wizards.
This is what I'm thinking.
But the thing is, like, they didn't come. They came to Middle Earth like knowing who they were.
Yes, they did.
There wasn't this like weird like what is heat thing.
No.
So it's just it.
So
This is the big mystery of the season, I think.
It is. It's the big mystery, and I'm sure that once it's all revealed, we'll find how we've been both right and extremely wrong.
I hope so.
But I hope so. That is my hope. But I'm interested. I'm interested in this. I'm invested in it. Oh, the fireflies. Yeah.
When he bloodbends the fireflies. That's not Mithrandir. He says, no, you're going in this direction. This is what the stars are going to look like when I'm done with you.
I was like, excuse me?
He Palpatines them.
He Palpatines them. Oh my god. Yeah.
And he's making the constellation, and I'm just like, you're bloodbending fireflies, and then they all die. What's wrong with you?
And then they die. Okay. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Yes.
This is my main thing about why it has to be a force of evil.
I know. I think
It has to be a force of evil.
Because this happens right after, right?
Yes, this is at the end of episode 1. Gil-galad picks up the thing and he's like, "Oh, it's rotting," right after the comet happens. So, it has to be some kind of Maiar that they created.
Something not good.
I don't. If it's Sauron, I don't get it yet, but maybe they'll explain it to me.
Because Sauron, I feel like he would make himself look better. You know?
Like, he's a vain motherfucker. Like, he has Anatar.
Exactly.
He has Anatar, the Lord of Gifts, his fair guys. He ain't some, like, Beorn, Beorn motherfucker.
No, a budget Beorn. I don't buy it being Sauron. I think they would have to work real hard for me to accept that that is Sauron.
Or there's just something I'm missing.
Or there's something. I mean.
Oh no.
Yeah, completely.
I don't overthink things.
No, that's not you at all.
That's not me.
No,
so
I agree.
I am very excited for how the Harfoots and the Stranger and I mean Nori's my girl. I love Nori. I love Poppy.
Yes. Yeah.
There was that moment from Poppy where she's like, "Mind your own fire, Maven, Malva."
Oh,
Mind your own fire,
good line.
Malva.
what a good line. What a good line.
That's
I love kids with like a little bit of,
a little
you
bit
know,
of sass.
a little bit of sass.
It's
I love it. And you know
It's
what?
really-
She was right. She was right to say it. Mind your own fire, Malva.
mind your own fucking fire, Malva.
Exactly.
We all know
Yeah.
a Malva. She's
We
a
all
bitch.
know him. This is the thing. We all know a Malva.
Oh, so now we're gonna get to this bitch,
Oh, this bitch.
Elrond.
I don't want to say. I don't want it to. Be,
I
I don't want it to seem
know.
like I don't. It's. I don't want
It's
it.
not fair to me or to him.
I don't want this for us. I don't want this for us. Is the thing, because like I want to like Elrond. It's just that he's making it very difficult right now.
His smug little face,
Yeah,
and he's.
it's
I'm looking at it.
and
I'm
like
getting
it's,
angry.
I
I'm getting angry looking at him. It's fine.
I hope that this is like we're starting with Elrond from like a very specific point in his life. Like he is clearly young
Mhm.
for an elf right now. And so I would be fine if like this is sort of his starting place and we are going to see him grow into what he is going to become, because there is quite a bit that he has not. I mean, most of the things that Elrond does, he hasn't gotten there yet.
But also remember when earlier he was saying to Galadriel, "I have seen things."
Mm-hmm.
Bitch, what you seen?
What have you seen? What have you seen?
What? What? I'm
Say
no.
it.
I'm listening. What have you seen?
Elrond? That's the thing. I was like, what are you talking about, Elrond? Nothing has happened to you yet.
Did you
like-
go through like a bad breakup or something? I'm sorry, life's hard. Galadriel is literally
Sorry, life's
millennial
hard.
older than you. What have you been through?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell me, Elrond.
It's just, yeah. And so, like, it's, I understand. Like, I think he is at that point in, like, I feel like he's the equivalent to, like, your early 20s, where you feel like you know everything, and you feel like, yeah, you feel like everything is just sort of centered on you. You know everything. I think that is his deal right now, and he is still very, very early in his journey to becoming the Elrond that we see later.
Yeah,
That is my thinking.
that is my hope. That is my wish.
That is my hope. Yes.
Because I think he's very
wish, my
clearly being manipulated by Gil-galad.
I think so too. Yes.
But Gil-galad says this line, "She may have inadvertently kept alive the very evil she sought to defeat. Galadriel sails to the sunset. You and I must look to the new sunrise." And Elrond doesn't bat an eye. He just says, "Oh, so you think Sauron's actually alive?" No moral qualms about anything.
No. It's very obvious that Elrond idolizes Gil-galad.
He writes his
and
speeches.
That he writes his speeches. That is very. So this honestly, this relationship feels very true to what kind of happens in the books. Like that feels true to it, because Elrond does become his. I think he's what does he end up becoming to Gil-galad? I can't think of the word now, but he's his like not champion. That's not the word. I can't think of the word now.
Lieutenant.
But yeah,
type thing?
he's his lieutenant. Yeah, something like that. And so I see what they're doing with this, and I know that. I mean, again, spoilers. What happens to Gil-galad is going to devastate Elrond.
But that's the thing is, like, because Gil-galad dies at the Battle of, I can't remember what it is. Like, that's end of story.
Battle of. That's yes, it is. Yeah.
So I'm like, I want Gil-galad to die sooner. I want this Gilgalad to die sooner.
Maybe
end of
unfortunately,
season
I think
4.
you're going to be, I think you're going to be disappointed by this. I'm sorry.
His face just like
he's
Elrond has such a
He's going
punchable
to be around
face,
for a little bit.
but Gilgalad has an even punchier, punchabler face.
Yeah.
No, I don't like the
it's
conspiring.
when they go to Barad-dûr. Yeah, it's Gilgalad and when elves and men join up and they fight. But the scene that you see at the beginning when
you
Elrond
see
was there,
Gilgalad for
and,
like
you know,
0.0 seconds.
a second, yeah, less than a
0.01
second.
seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, it's, and I mean, even in the movies, you can see like Elrond is still very clearly like it changed him.
Mm-hmm.
That battle changed him. And so, if that is what they are setting up,
I'm down.
I can deal with that. I'm good with that. I can wait and see the growth. I am all about character growth. It doesn't have to be instantaneous for me, but also give me a little bit of something.
Give me hope that he's not going to be a little shit.
Give me something.
Because he's just a little
Now,
shit.
I know I'm not I will say, episode 2 helped.
We're
his
gonna
interactions with Durin. Oh my god, yeah.
This, you know what
Durin and
vibe this
Disa.
gives me?
Yeah.
Celebrimbor. Celebrimbor gives me the Ollivander from Harry Potter.
Oh, a little bit, yeah.
Like just in the look, but also a little in the attitude.
Just in the look. Yeah. I like him though.
I like him too. He has
Of all the elves that we've met so far, I actually think he is the one that I'm the most, besides Galadriel, obviously. He is the one where I'm like, I am interested in this. This is good. And especially knowing his importance and what he does and what happens with him. I'm
spoilers,
really
he makes the
interested
rings
to
of
see.
power. Like I don't
Yes.
know how, I'm curious in like where in the show in these 5 seasons they're gonna put the actual forging of the rings. I don't think it's gonna be season 1.
Oh, definitely not. They're still building up to that.
Maybe
They haven't even. They're still getting to the dwarf. Like I think season 1 might end with them getting the dwarves on their side to like
or maybe the
like
forge
to-
being built.
built.
Right.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But I loved this bit about Feanor's hammer because it was just a nice little throwback. And
was
they
good.
brought
Yeah,
up the
it was really
Silmarils,
good.
so that makes me think that they're going to show up
They did.
somehow.
I'm assuming so.
Maybe
Yeah.
not the Silmarils themselves, sorry, but like the lore of the Silmarils.
No. The lore of them. Yes. Yeah.
Because they didn't have to include this, I don't think.
No.
Because
And this was another moment where like Elrond is kind of talking and explaining about them, and Celebrimbor is just like, yeah, I know.
who do
I
you
know.
think you're talking to?
It's just so...
Are you going to go to Arrow Iluvatar and be like, hey, I heard about this song once.
Did you hear? Have you heard this song? It's really good.
That's
Oh
the
my
vibe
God.
I'm getting
Like
from this
he's-
Elrond.
Yeah, he is peak young 20s. He is peak young 20s, where like he's just like, I know everything. I know nobody can touch me. I know everything.
He's going to go to Olmo and be like, hey, have you heard about water?
Have you heard about water? Did you hear about this cool thing called water?
He's just,
Oh my god.
he is so,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of one of
And
their
I'm
names.
real glad that Durin called his shit out. Durin called his shit out. Good for Durin.
He's going to
Good
go to
for him.
Nienna and be like, have you heard of crying?
Have you
Have you heard of
Have
tears?
you heard of crying? Have you heard of tears? Have you heard of weeping? Do you know about sorrow?
Sorry, no one's going to get these jokes, but we're
I
good.
know.
I'm not going to explain it. Nothing.
No, there's gonna be 5 people who will get it, and they'll be like, gosh.
I will be amazed if 5 people watch this in its entirety.
We'll see.
Okay, so
my
now we're getting to
God.
the good part, which is the dwarves and
Yes.
Durin, and
Good shit. Yeah.
like I love that he invokes this ancient rite of rock smashing.
I know. Rock smashing. It's so perfect.
Just and they have such a personality. Durin,
They do. Yeah, they're the most charismatic, I think, of
Oh my god.
all of, aside from the Harfoots. I think. The Harfoots and the dwarves are up there, I think.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of like strong characterization, and obviously Galadriel. But I feel like the dwarves, there's just something like, it's just.
I love all of their
it's good.
beards. I love that the women don't
Look at
have
that
beards,
beard
but
that
they
he's-
have like lots of hair that they keep in the front. I love.
Disa has like
Oh yes, we're gonna get to Disa.
sort of a wispy. Yeah, she has like sort of a wispy kind of beard, an almost beard kind of.
I like this scene because
Yeah.
it was so cute when Durin just broke down and said, "You missed my wedding,"
Yeah,
and I'm like,
that's what he's upset about.
I'm like,
yeah.
I clearly Elrond was once a decent person.
Yeah, he was. He just literally, I think with Elrond, and I think this happens with a lot of elves, is just he literally forgot that not everyone is immortal. And that like with elves, you can not talk to them for 100 years and then come back and it's chill. And not much has changed really. But that's not the case with everyone else. And
Yeah.
I think Elrond forgot, he was so caught up in his own shit, and time passes differently when you are an immortal being. And so I think that's literally what happened. Like it's Durin, like you can see Durin is literally, he's heartbroken by this.
so
He's genuinely hurt.
He's
so sad.
he's
Just
having
like,
he is. It's just so like I want to know the Elrond that Durin knew. I don't want to know this.
Me too.
Elrond.
Yeah. No, we don't want him. We don't claim him. There she is. There she is. There's my girl. There she is.
Disa.
There she is. I love her so much. I knew that I would love her.
I knew from the second
as
the
soon as we,
promotional
like,
image came
I
out
knew.
that I was like,
As soon as it came out, I was like, oh. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out the logistics of this. I know it's going to take a lot of work, but I'm trying to figure this out. We'll see.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
She's just so good. She's so wonderful. She's so delightful. And just like, she's so... First of all, like, the costume design. We haven't really talked about the costume design for the show.
I feel like there's too much.
Gorgeous. It's too much. That's the
It's
thing.
so-
It's gorgeous. It's stunning.
Elrond, honestly, his was
Oh,
the
yeah.
one where I was like,
Oh,
I'll buy that.
his fit?
Oh.
His fit?
I'll buy that. Like, show me at the store where that is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful. Like the everything that we've seen, all of the costume design on the show, it's just gorgeous.
It's amazing.
And I really, really like I love that with the dwarves you get a lot of like almost like geometrical design
Yes.
to it. And you really see that with Disa. Like it's like you see like it's a lot of triangles on her, and just
All of the elves are
it's
very
gorgeous.
sinuous lines. All of the Harfoots are very like haphazard. We haven't seen too much
Yep.
of the men. They're just plain.
No.
And all of the dwarves are very
just
geometric. It's
very geometric. I love it. It's beautiful. And she's so like immediately she is just, because and I wondered at first, I was like, has she met him? But like Durin very clearly says, like, you missed my wedding, so I don't think Elrond hasn't met Disa.
Right. And she's
don't
just
think.
welcoming and loving, and
Just
clearly she
immediately.
knows who Elrond is.
She knows who he is.
'Cause
She is, I
Durin
am
has
sure
cried
that she has
many
listened to Durin. That's exactly what I was gonna say. That's exactly. Durin has cried over this. I am sure he has wept over this, and she has listened to him weep, and she has listened to him talk about how much he misses his friend. And she's probably said, well, why don't you reach out to him? No. Me reach out to him? He needs to reach out to me. I'm not going to be the one to do it. And now Elrond is here. She's like, thank God.
She's
They
like,
can work
finally,
their
we
shit
can
out.
start.
Yes,
We can
exactly.
start the healing.
We can start the healing process. Yeah, it's
And
just
I
so
loved-
good. And like you,
I
yeah.
love the scale, because I did not notice any moment between Elrond and the dwarves that the scale was weird.
No. It looks really good. Like they've done a really, really good job with the CGI here. It's just, and like obviously like Elrond walking in and like kind of like having to duck through like the ceilings and everything because it's so low, and I just loved all of the details there. And I mean, sorry, I'm gonna go back just a little bit and talk about just Khazad-dûm in general, because oh my god.
The agriculture,
Oh my god.
where they let the sun in,
Oh my god. Yeah. And just had like streams. Like it's
was
it's
beautiful.
So
It was
gorgeous.
peak
It's
Khazad-dûm.
beautiful. Yeah, and it was in its height. It was in its its heyday, and it just made me. It was beautiful, and then also made me so sad, so sad, because to think about what is going to happen to it and what it's going to become, and just oh god. And I know the same thing's going to happen with Numenor.
Oh.
I know I'm going to get the same feelings from Numenor.
Right, but we haven't
because,
seen
like, you get
Numenor be
we haven't
destroyed.
seen it.
We haven't we've seen what happens to the Mines of Moria and Khazad-dûm.
Yes.
So, I mean, again, this is
Yeah.
thousands of years from now, so I don't have to be sad
Thousands
about
of
Disa.
years,
I don't know what's
yeah.
going to happen to Disa, but
I know. Yeah.
she better live happy or get the best death ever.
She better have the best life and the best death ever. That's all I want.
Like,
And I'm sure that's all she wants.
that's yeah. Oh, she's fiery.
Oh yeah.
I love her so much. She just.
Oh yeah.
It takes me a minute to get used to the
just so
gold
delightful.
eyes, just because.
Yeah, I know.
It looks
They're very different.
a little
Yeah.
beady. Like her eyes just look a little more beady, but I love it.
Yeah. I really like that specific detail.
She's
yeah.
gold. She's opulence. She owns
Opulence,
everything.
you own everything.
And Durin is great. Oh,
I really like Durin. They're so cute.
well, I didn't notice this, but there's like gold on his elbow.
On his elbow, yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch.
What a cool detail.
I know. I'm like, does he just
what a
put it
cool
on at
detail.
certain parts?
I think it's just like it just happens. I think there's just gold
Ah,
dust
Everywhere
from
Okay.
from where they're working and where they're smithing and all of that, and just I think it's
That makes
just
more
one of those
sense.
things. Yeah.
Oh, and then I included this one because it's
And this.
My first thought was like Silmar Arkin. No,
That's what I thought too. I don't
It's
think
Mithril.
I think it's Mithril.
Yeah.
It's Mithril. I think it's when they first, because this is around the time where Mithril, they started to really like they really kind of discovered it and started to mine for it.
because it was
And so I
like
think this is,
Khazad-dûm was a great
Yeah.
kingdom already, and then they discovered Mithril,
was,
and they
yes.
became
and it became poppin'. They were poppin'. Yeah.
they were opulent.
Now, is this? They were opulence.
They were opulent.
Is this? Which Durin is this? Is this?
I think this is
the Prince Durin the Third.
I think it's the third. I think yes, because
I think so.
I think
because timeline-wise, that would make sense because Durin the Third is the one that gets one of the rings
right.
from Celebrimbor.
Yes.
I think that's
this
right.
Is yes, the father is Durin the Third.
Okay.
Or the king right now is Durin the Third. And
Durin
I
the Third.
don't know
And then
what happens with Prince Durin.
yeah. I know, because it's the thing is, I love the dwarves, but they use so many of the same names. That
Well, Durin is like a mythological figure for them. Like he's reborn
for them. Yes,
So
he's reborn constantly. Yeah,
it is interesting.
it's a name of honor. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think it's.
But yeah, I think it's Mithril.
I think it's Mithril.
This is Mithril that they're looking at. It'll be interesting to see the introduction of Mithril into the society of Middle Earth, and
I think what's going to happen is Celebrimbor is going to be like, "What's that? Why is that so pretty? Give it to me."
Might.
Might.
And I think that's why, because they were kind of talking like, I don't think he knows, and they're trying to keep this a secret. They do not want anyone to know about this, because they are very much aware of how priceless it is. It is literally priceless. And they talk about that quite a bit in the movies, but I think they're going to go into even more detail now, because this is when Mithril was in the height, like it was just being discovered. They're figuring out what it can do. They're figuring out just how much it's worth.
It's going to be interesting to see what the dwarves like get up to. Oh, I forgot about this. I didn't. This was a weird.
Where's this from?
Outside of in the Southlands.
Oh, in the Southlands.
It's
okay,
this weird ass crow eating a baby.
Cool. It seems like
I don't know why I took a screenshot.
I don't know either.
We'll go back to Disa.
There we go. Oh, Disa.
So yeah, that was basically all of the storylines. I'm very curious to see how the Stranger is. I mean, I'm curious about all of it, but the Stranger is probably the one because it's made for this. I want to see who the Stranger is.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I'm interested to see how, because spoilers, Sauron. Actually, should we say this? Have we already talked about what Sauron does? Well, it's already known in the rings, like that in the movies, that he deceives, he tricks them into making the rings of power. So
yes.
We've already talked about this.
I thought you were going to say he's a shapeshifter, and I'm like, yeah, that's also true.
That is very much true. That is what I was going to say, that like, it'll be interesting to see how he shows up and whether
he's going to be a twink.
Us as an audience, I assume so.
I
assume that he's the one in the white.
Yeah, the one in the white
Anatar,
with the twink that looks like a twink. Yeah,
yeah, that's Anatar.
Yeah,
it's got to be him.
I mean, it's. I'm excited for Twink Sauron.
Oh no! Oh no! They gave us Twink Sauron. What have they done?
Didn't need to. But there he is.
There he is. There he is.
You can see all my bookmarks
now, how is anyone going to be tricked by this? How are they going to be tricked by it?
I don't know. Oh, I'm gonna have to edit this out.
How are they going to? He looks suspicious.
He looks sneaky.
He looks very sneaky. I'm interested to see whether us as an audience are going to be in on the fact that it's Sauron that is deceiving them, or if it's going to be a surprise to the audience as well. You know what I mean? Like if we are going to be in on the secret, and we'll be sort of be going along with the reveal, or if it's going to be a secret to us, and there will be a question of like, okay, well, who is Sauron? Like which one is
multiple
he?
Sauron contenders.
Yeah. I'd be fine either way, to be honest with you. Yeah. Because, we're as book fans, we are aware of how things play out in the books, but
Yeah.
We don't. It's. I would love to be surprised. I would love for them to do something a little bit different. Not necessarily change it, because I don't think they have to.
Right.
I don't think they have to change that part of it. But do get to the destination a little bit differently.
Yeah.
You know?
Just take a different path. A similar path.
Yeah. Similar path.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next episode, who knows what's going to happen, because they aren't doing like next on Rings of Power.
No, they're not. They're not doing promos.
But we're going to get Numenor.
We'll see.
There's also that scene of Galadriel seeing the Palantir, so I'm curious as to if that'll show up in the next episode.
Yeah. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
And then
basically
I'm
Numenor.
assuming we find out what Hansa was. Yeah, Numenor. I think we're going to get a lot of Numenor in the third episode, because there's a lot to cover there.
So much.
There's a lot to cover there with Numenor. Yeah.
I'm
excited.
All of these like high budget realms that they're building, like okay, I see where the billion went.
Oh, for sure, because it looks incredible. It's gorgeous.
All right, everybody.
Stunning.
Well, I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's it for this episode. We're at 2 hours.
That's
fine.
it.
So yeah,
It's fine. We'll figure it out.
we're good. All right. So
Yep.
thank you guys for watching. If you've made it this far,
Thank you for
We'll see what
watching.
happens.
If you've stuck it out, listening to us ramble about the show,
maybe we'll get better at this, or maybe we'll be exactly like we are.
maybe we'll be exactly who we are. And you know what? Maybe that's okay.
Maybe that's okay. That's what my therapist has been
okay.
trying to tell me for so long.
Yeah. Mine too.
All right. Well, until next week,
There you go.
when we talk about Numenor and Galadriel and Elrond
Yeah.
and Gil-galad and all of our friends.
All that good stuff. Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.